in mythology, I believe that Olympus was the father of Apollo, I think. But our guest here today, he could probably look at Apollo, Zeus, Neptune, any of the Greek mythological gods and say, you're probably going to get pinned. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
My name is Ben Warner. Won a state title in 07.
And, of course, 2007 135-pound state champion representing the Colonels of Oldham County, the beautiful part of the state known as Buckner, Kentucky. And as I said in other videos, right there on the corner of 393 and 146, right off of, I believe it's I-71 there.
Yeah.
So, Ben, man, we mentioned Olympus Wrestling. You're, I believe, the owner, head wrestling coach. Is that correct? Am I right about that?
Yeah. So me and Corey Mullins run Olympus together. So started that year out of COVID, and been growing and doing really good things.
Yeah, all the time. I believe I follow you guys. It's either you or the page, either one, all the time posting, meets and you have the cool mythological themed singlets, the lightning and all that. So you guys are easy to spot.
Great. All stuff. He's good with that.
Yeah, a very unique color scheme, very unique, logoing and branding. So the importance of getting into wrestling early, building that base. So we have to ask, what gets you into wrestling? How do you find it, man?
So my dad wrestled, and then he got my older brothers into wrestling. And then I started. We started in Pennsylvania, and then we moved Pennsylvania to Michigan. And in Michigan, we were part of that Davison program up there. That's, nationally ranked when we were up there. Like I was part of a really good team, like Metcalf and Reeder and Paul Donahoe, like a ton of national champs that I just named right there. So that room is what molded me into what I was able to do, for sure.
And about what age would that have been?
Probably started 6 or 7, and then when I was when I moved to Michigan, we were up there from 4th to sophomore year.
Okay. Now you said Donahoe. Did he wrestle at Nebraska? Is that right?
Yeah, won a national title there.
Okay, that's what I thought. As soon as you said that, I was like, I remember that name. Okay, so that's
I just took my son to a camp. They had North Hardin just held a camp there, and where my dad coaches, and Donahoe had a camp there, and he brought Josh Barr, which should be the starting 197 there next year. Yep. It was really cool for, like, I was learning from him because he was a senior when I was a freshman, and then for my son to go there was to learn from was really cool.
Man, that's some pretty good knowledge to get there from that learning tree to sit under. Man, that's pretty cool. So you moved to Kentucky, and the first year that you get to wrestle for Oldham County is 2005. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you have been a sophomore, and you come in 3rd place, 119 pounds that year. And one thing that, of course, back then, of course, we were at the dungeon. Yep. It was a 3-day event. We had recently, just in 2002, switched over from just having straight regionals, then state. So it was a 32-man bracket. It was a 3-day event. It was a long 3 days. It was fun, but it was very long. And I got to attend the 05 and 06 state tournaments just as a spectator. And I remember that morning, because you wrestled Drew Trimble from Johnson Central, and I believe I think it may have been in the going for 3rd place, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. You beat him going in for 3rd. And I was doing your bracket research, and I was like, no, because you go pull it up, looking at it. You wrestled 8 bouts at that state tournament. You went 7-1. I believe you got Eric Bryant got you there in the 2nd round from McCreary Central, and you end up having to wrestle 8 bouts over 3 days. So that was a pretty brutal grind, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. So losing, and I wrestled Eric twice before, and like like he was a tough wrestler, but I believe either I pinned him or it was a major. It wasn't that close, but he definitely got the better of me in the second round, and then I had to wrestle back, and it was a grind because I don't remember, like, it was tough. Like it wasn't majors, it wasn't techs, it was dog fights. But yeah, dropping one early and you gotta wrestle all the way back is tough.
But you did, man. You wrestled all the way back, got third place. Like I said, 119 pounds. Of course, you guys will see the medal ceremony.
Third place from Oldham County, Ben Warner. For 119 pounds, state runner-up from Oldham County, Stacy Miller.
So coming in to Kentucky, placing third, as a sophomore, kind of getting your feet wet in the state tournament grind. Is Michigan classed up? Do you remember?
They have 4 divisions up there.
Okay, all right.
They did have now, but they did up there. And I know my was a grind being in that room. I went like 49-10 my freshman year. Like that's a lot of matches to. I was one away from making the state tournament up there. But definitely tough up there.
Yeah, and you hear people. I think that's one of the beautiful parts of the channel is finally getting some of our state champions. And my goal is to get there's 8 as of this filming. This is August 9th, 2024. There's 811 state champions. My goal is to get all 811, if they're still not alive or with us, to get a memorial video, get with their coaches, get something, get every state champion that I can possibly get on my channel. But let the world see just how good Kentucky wrestling is. But it's no secret that for a pretty good while, Kentucky wrestling existed, but wasn't nothing to write home about. But when you get to the state tournament, and 2005 it depends on how you look at it, 3 of the best Kentucky wrestlers to ever come through with Jacob Merton, Jarius Merton, and Kyle Rochelle. So when you get there, you see the spectacle, the lights, the face-off, under the whole shebang. Seeing the Mertens, seeing Kyle Rochelle, do you kind of take a step back and be like, wow, there's some good wrestling in this state?
Yes, definitely. So we when we moved here, we had a couple of the dads were like real into the Kentucky Wrestling forums. Yeah. And they were saying, oh, this kid's really good, or this kid's really good. And this guy right here, and he's talking about Kyle, was he's multiple time state champ. And I was like, I want to wrestle that guy. That's who I want to wrestle. So from going from Michigan to Kentucky, it seemed like there's maybe 3 guys that could win a weight class here, as to where up there you probably have 10 depending how the match goes, match and styles. I think that would be the difference. So I mean, it's definitely it was definitely tougher. I think we're getting there for sure. Mm-hmm. But definitely seeing the dungeon, the lights, that was like I'm gonna get there. So that was.
Yeah, no, that was great. And of course, Kyle wins, that weight class this year, 2005. That is most outstanding. Goes on to Wisconsin, becomes a 2-time NCAA All-American. He's now the head coach at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. So you had a pretty good final boss there. Speaking in video game terms, to go up against. Nevertheless, third place, a good introduction to Kentucky wrestling. 2006, 125 pounds as a junior. We had some Oldham County crime here. You wrestled Derek Scott from South Oldham. Now, I have to imagine that you guys probably saw each other, a bunch. Is that fair to say?
Yep. We wrestled either 3 or 4 times. And it was always like a 1-point match. Like it was tough, but Oldham County, we would catch a bus. South would be in the front, we'd be in the back. Like, and you're going to wrestle each other. And the wrestling mentality, like, it's individual, but it's team, but like we don't like them, they don't like us, kind of thing. So like respect, but not like we're not sitting up there chumming it up with them either. So Derek was a tough competitor. Russ was really defensive, and I was real offensive, so he countered a lot, and he had my number. I don't know.
So North or South Oldham and Oldham County would ride the same bus to wrestling meets. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You're the first person to say that. I never knew that until just now. Wow. I could see that working. I mean, of course, what is it? Oldham County and South Oldham's not, was it one exit apart? Maybe, is that right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like 5 miles.
Okay. But in 2006, though, man, you come in second place. Derek gets you with a 6-3 decision. Did you guys ride the bus back home with each other, or was that, No,
no,
I'm kidding.
So like I'm so competitive. Like I know where that third place medal is. I know what it took to get there. I know what it took to get to the state finals my junior year, but I don't know where that medal's at. I don't have it. Like I don't know where it is. My mom got it, but I do not know where it's at.
Take it over to one of the bridges in Louisville and give it the Muhammad Ali toss, right?
Yeah.
Derek Scott, never again. Throw it over. So Derek, man, if you watch this, get up with us. We'd love to get with you. I believe Derek's a multiple-time state champion.
Yeah.
Whenever we do get with Derek, I'll make sure that I post it to where you can't see it. You know what I'm saying? I'll adjust the YouTube algorithm. Like everybody but Ben Warner can watch this. So coming in as a senior, this is it, man. You got, you've been to the promised land, come up, ever so shortly. Talk to the youngsters, if you will, the high schoolers, the middle schoolers, elementary schoolers. What got you over the hump from the silver to the gold?
For me, like it was like a tunnel vision. Like I'd been there, not reaching my goal. Like I wrote goals down every year before the season, and that was a big thing that but right by my light switch as I walk out the door of my bedroom, I had a list of what I wanted to accomplish. And so setting goals is huge for the mindset of wrestling. So for youth and like my boys, and my daughter, she wrestles too, my youngest. I tell them to set goals. They don't like my daughter's 7, like her goals is probably a lot different than what a high schooler is, but so goals, accomplish those goals, then set another goal. Don't just be satisfied. So keep pushing.
No, man, that's a great piece of advice. Seeing something over and over and over and over and over and over, getting it into that subconscious, getting it into your programming. And I believe Tendai Charasika mentioned it, that he was same thing. Of course, Tendai, 3-time state champion from St. Xavier, absolute animal there in the mid-90s, that he and I'm sure other people have, but Tendai sticking out to me for some reason. So I guess it needs to be said that he would kind of, I guess, mentally visualize his goals in his head before he would, go out and wrestle, or what he'd go off and meditate. So all the little pieces of information that we can get out, what got everybody else there. Not saying that it will resonate with everybody, but somebody may hear this and be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start writing my goals down beside my bedroom wall when I walk out. And, you never know who it's going to affect, how it's going to affect them. So as a senior, though, man, 135 pounds, 2007, did you play football, any other sports there for the Colonels, or how'd it go?
Not at OC. So I played football until I got here, and then I just focused after that. I
got you. So when practice, of course, I'm sure you're doing off-season work, you're going to camps, doing, different things. But when practice actually starts for school and you come into the room for that first day, did you guys always used to practice down where the Oldham County team practices at now?
No, sir. We the bleachers there's 2 sets of bleachers in the high school, and now they're different, but the bleachers pushed in big wooden bleachers, and then we rolled out mats behind those bleachers, and that's where we practiced. So if there was a basketball game, we had to go to the hallways. So like it was not a we had a I'd say love hate for basketball, but
Yeah.
I love basketball, but at that time, not so much.
I when I wrestled, we done the exact same thing. We had to Eric Johnson. We had to push the bleachers in and roll our mat. So a lot of teams have had to do that over the years. Some of the stories we've got from all across the state, the same exact thing. Basketball had a game. We had to cut practice short or go out and just run or whatever. So I completely understand. Now I think we done Brent Gibbs and Josh Reardon's videos there in Oldham County's mat room. Yeah. Nevertheless, man, but when you come in, I guess it would have been October 15th when practice can start. So somewhere thereabouts. Was it, if I don't win a state championship this year, this has all been for naught, or how did you look at it coming in?
It was definitely state championship or bust. Like my goals that I wrote down were state champion, undefeated, and no points scored on me. Those were my goals. And besides letting people up, and I did not reach one of those in the region finals. Justin Davis, who's I think he won after I left a couple times.
He's a two-timer. Yep.
He got a reversal on me in the finals of regionals, and then I pinned him. But he got the reversal, so goals were reached. Like I didn't get taken down or anything like that. So like it was good, but those were my 3 goals. So it was definitely
that's pretty. That's some pretty good goals to have. Undefeated, no points scored, state championship. You do those 3, they're going to name a street or something after you in certain places. So when you come in, what is because the video that we have is just the match. There's no face off. There's no medal ceremony. What was your record coming in?
Undefeated, but maybe 38, 40, something.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. Like I said, 2007, 135 pounds as a senior. You start off the state tournament with a 43-second fall over Jordan Murphy from John Harden. So, you're in, you're out, bam, bam.
But that's a 3-day. So, like, we had to, win the first time, so, like, you could kind of replenish a little bit or start the weight cut again. So it was not.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You start second round, you have a 1-2-second fall over Stephen Murphy. I'm sorry, that's not correct. Stephen Markham from Sheldon Clark. You win that in 1 and 2 seconds. So again, 2 matches, 2 falls in the first period. So you're, like you said, man, you gotta get in, you gotta get out, man. You gotta have the Mike Tyson approach, man. First round, first period.
Right.
Don't break a sweat. Save it for the finals. You get to the quarters and you win a 7-2 decision over Kyle Griffith from Campbell County. So a little bit, we didn't get a pin. Kyle goes on to get 6th place. So was it you just couldn't get a turn, or was he that good, or how did it go there?
Wrestled really defensive, if I remember correctly. So I was super offensive, but obviously didn't get much of a turn if I did. Don't remember the match that well, but
okay, no, that's fine. But it was I saw that and I was like, I bet Ben's got a good story about that. You get to the semis and you run into Luke Irvin from Union County, and you win that by a fall, 5 minutes and 6 seconds. And of course, this was the year that Union County won the team title and started the current dynasty that they're on. They just had a absolute phenomenal team that year. Luke goes on that year to get 5th place, and in 2009, Luke wins the 135-pound state championship. And of course, everybody knows the Irvins. They've been kings of the hill now for a while. So, do you remember much about that match? Did you know much about Union County coming into that tournament, or?
Wrestled Luke before that match, but I got to my offense. I turned him a few times, and I thought I was going to get it in the second, and then I felt strong, but my leverage was more than anything. Like Josh talked about, like my spiral ride, which my boys they run it now, and my 9-year-old runs it like a lot, like I did. So it's gonna be fun to watch coming through. But I would ride that spiral pretty hard and could turn just about anybody with it. So I think that's how it ended up. But
Okay, yeah, no, fair enough. You get to the finals, you're wrestling Josh Ashbrook from Harrison County. Now, of course, we met with Josh in the Harrison County mat room. Josh is currently the head coach at Harrison County. So let's kind of start from the beginning. Had you wrestled Josh before this?
yeah, so funny. So we had Kentucky Wrestling Forums or whatever, and so my dad, he pulled it up and he showed me. Everybody gets on there talking, and it's good and bad, and it's fun, but that I wasn't going to be big enough to wrestle 135 because I come from 25 to 35. But I always cut a bunch of weight, which I do not condone. Like I tell my wrestlers now, like, wrestle what you weigh, wrestle strong, wrestle hard, do your job. Like those are things that's going to get it done. But that's just the way it was back then, I guess. So I'm sure people still cut some today. But anyways, so said it wasn't going to be big enough to wrestle 135. I'm like, okay, that Josh is going to win the weight class is the way it started preseason. Like that was it. So I wanted to wrestle. Is the only reason we went to their tournament was because I wanted to wrestle Josh. I did not know Josh was injured coming out of football in that match, but we wrestled in the finals of that match, and they also seeded him 1, and I was 2, which was a problem for me. Like I hated that stuff. I was much different than I am now. Like I'm easygoing. Like I'm super competitive. But when I wrestle, like it's a light switch. It's on and off, right? Oh, yeah. So we wrestle, and I believe it was 13-1 or 12-1 or something like that. Didn't give up any points besides cutting him. But Josh is a great dude. So like my mindset back there, like I hate talking like that now, but yeah, we wrestled in the finals of his tournament. So like I love that I got to go down there and then beat him in front of his crowd. Like that was that's what I wanted. So sorry, Josh.
No, hey, listen, man, that's part of it. You know, if you couldn't flip a light switch or turn it on, as they say, then maybe wrestling isn't the sport for you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have that mentality of, you know, I am going to do what it takes. So if I got to lift this dude, dump him on his head, whatever, I'm winning this match. I don't care what happens. So if you don't have that, you know, that's in this series, so many guys that we've met with, especially back, I can only imagine just how rough the 80s, and we just had the state finals, you know, for several years of the 80s and 90s, but I can just imagine how some of these meets went that weren't filmed, how many fist fights broke out or how many fights in the crowd broke out or locker rooms or whatever, because some of the dudes are like, it was just a fight for me. This is the first time I'd ever got to do anything like this. It was just go out, and I didn't care if I won. I just wanted to fight somebody. And I was like, okay, you know, that's kind of cool. So, but when you go into, you know, as they say, go into enemy territory or go into a hostile environment, I believe that tournament in Harrison County is called the Rumble on the Hilltop, if I'm not mistaken.
I think.
I believe that's what they call it still to this day. And that tournament's been going on for a long time. So, and I think it's towards the first part of the season, correct? Is that right?
Very, very early on. So like he said in the video y'all did that he was coming off football injury, but he wanted to wrestle me. Yeah. So like that mindset, you know, so but I didn't care. There was he was out of shape or didn't injure like I wanted to wrestle him. So
hey, that's part of it, man. That's part of it. So you kind of know each other. You were in the finals the year before. This is Josh's first trip to the finals. After you win that semifinals over Luke, do you go back to the hotel room? Do you just kind of chill? What do we do here?
So that was we weighed in that morning, the last weigh-in. So the last time I got to be was 138 pounds at that point. By the time you get a pound each day, or 39 is what I got to weigh. So I tried to get that the semifinal match done as soon as possible, and then replenish drink, eat everything. I remember going to Fazoli's. I don't know how many breadsticks I had. It was a lot. But you eat all the things that you're not used to eating all the time, and then chill out and rest. And I've been there before, so like I kind of knew how it went, but was ready to go. I wish they would have started at 135. That's where I was at when I got back. So
No, I get it. And of course, if you never got to go to the dungeon, that was always the thing. As soon as the semifinals ended of heavyweight or whatever bout, everybody'd always go out in town, like I said, go to Fazoli's, whatever restaurants were there on that strip. I don't know what the name of the road is, but you'd see all the buses, and it was hard to get in places because everybody was doing the exact same thing. So when you get back to the arena, the dungeon, they got the mat set up for 3rd, 5th, 7th. They wrestle those, they break it down, get the one mat, do the lights, the face off. Do you go be by yourself? Do you walk us through that? Because we've got a few examples of guys, but what do you do specifically?
So me, I got ready way too early for everything. Like I was a pacer. Like it wasn't nervous. Like I wasn't nervous at all. I get more nervous now for guys like I coach middle school and youth wrestling. They're in the finals. Like I get those butterflies. I get that. Like you get nerves for especially my boys, and hasn't got much into the big matches or anything like that. So like me, like nerves now hit me a lot more. Being in the moment the year before, I think probably helped that. But when we get back to the dungeon, everybody's walking around in shoes and comfortable. I put my shoes back on. I had my sweats on. My best practice partner my whole life was my brother, Eric. And so he graduated a year before me, but he come back and trained with me. And so Eric was the trouble with like if somebody was like short and stocky, built like a brick house, that was easy for me to turn. Like the leverage was easy to turn. We're the same height, same length, that kind of thing. So my brother helped me a lot get ready for Josh. We went to, they used to have a mat set up at the back, and we went, we drilled, we talked some, but not so much strategy of what he was going to do, but what me going forward. Like that's a big part of how I coach too. I don't care what they do. It's good to watch those matches, but as long as we do our job, stay in good position, hand fight, head hands defense, those kind of things, like there's nothing he can do that's going to stop me from doing my job. So those are kind of things we talked about. We drilled a bunch, got a good sweat going, and then from opening ceremony to when I stepped on the mat, I was either pacing or kept the sweat going. So like I wanted to be ready, so.
No, I get it. And the thing too, a lot to unpack there, but let's kind of go in reverse, is you really don't know, like, yes, you know what sequence that you're going to go, but you don't really know, is the 103 match going to go into overtime? Are there going to be a bunch of quick pins and you're going to be up a whole lot quicker than? So it's good advice there just to keep a sweat going. Like I said, you just never know. And the talking about like the pacing and all that, some dudes have said, man, I wrestled the match 1,000 times in my head, and before I got out there, I was wore out, and I wrestled, terrible or whatever. Yep. So that's kind of cool. Now, I do not remember, did the video that we used for Josh's, did your mom film it or did his mom film it? I don't remember.
That was one from their side.
Okay.
So mine, I have that little VHS tape, but I've never, I maybe watched it once. Like I had one of those big converters that make it so you can actually put it in the car. But I think I watched it once, and then the next time was when you filmed it, Josh's video. All
right. Well, I think we've covered enough ground on this, so we're going to pull it up there. And of course, our normal saying here, you guys are seeing what we're seeing now. For the youngsters watching this, we always didn't used to have a phone that recorded in 4K and all this. This is a handheld VHS. Ask your parents, ask your guardians what a VHS tape is. I'm glad that we have it. It's filmed from the stands, so the quality may not be as good as what you see some other videos. But Ben, man, I'm excited to watch this with you. Let's hit it. All right, so from neutral here, man, what are we looking to do for takedowns?
So takedowns for me, like Josh wrestled a lot in space. So I was, if someone was in space, it was my low double. But if I get my hand a little bit, but Josh definitely wanted to keep space. That's how I think Blake he wrestled as well. He was confident on his feet. I was pretty confident as well. So
okay, and right there, Josh said in his video he believes this might be the longest state finals match in history. You guys had blood time, injury time, you name it, you guys had it. So
yeah,
I believe you've got a wrap around your head as well, correct?
yeah, my mouth was shut the whole time.
Yeah, and I believe Josh has a wrap around his eyes because I believe he's got an eye cut right there. So
yeah,
it's part of it, man. It's a war of attrition.
yeah, he can't see and I can't breathe.
Yeah, yeah. Now Josh gets in on a pretty good single right there. You're doing a pretty good job defending. Did you feel like, let's exert energy here, it'll be worth it, or let's hopefully go out of bounds, or what was the game plan here?
My defense was really good, so like I felt like he got in legs, but I didn't feel in danger in that spot. But I knew we were close to the edge, so I figured we would reset.
I got you. So we're still hand fighting here, still hand fighting. Pretty some level changes. You hit a pretty good takedown right there.
Yeah. Like I've done forever, and I still teach guys today, and it worked right there on the finals. Josh left an opening, just a crack, and I took it. So
yeah, no, I get it, and like we said earlier, guys, we know the camera's in the crowd, so if people walk in front of the screen, we apologize, but sometimes you gotta, 2007 was a different era.
Yeah.
All right, so you cut him right there. Was that you on your own cutting him? Was that your coaches telling you to cut him? What was the deal?
That was my dad always. My dad's in the corner, Coach Martinko. I felt like I would have been fine on my feet again.
Okay. All right, so that's the end of the period. Giving you the good old referee inspection of the head.
Yeah, multiple times during that match. Like we didn't want to run out of blood time. You run out of blood time, you lose, right? So the match is a little more consistent than you want. Obviously, we work hard on top, but on our feet, like we stopped that match so many times. We didn't know how much blood time.
So you're on top here. You get a pretty good lift in return. And right there, you're grabbing the wrist.
Yeah. And so much pressure on the shoulders and head. Wasn't a lot of people that get away if I got a hold of them like that.
I understand. We're out of bounds. And of course, I think Josh mentioned in his video, but the voice that you're hearing coaching him there from the crowd, I believe that's his dad. And unfortunately, Josh's dad passed away on us, so we want to say rest in peace to him. It was his dad was in the '84 state finals as well for Harrison County. Another good lift in return, and you still got that spiral, man. So that must have been like when an alligator latches onto something, seeing these videos, they just do that death roll. I can see, because you've not let go of it, I don't believe.
No. Immediately I was out running. I get spiral claw or that Blair ride. Like it was deadly, and we still did it. If they run it like that, it's definitely tough to turn people and tough to get out.
Oh yeah.
Or tough turn. He thought but Josh was tough.
Yeah.
Tough. Like I was confident. Obviously, I wrestled him 13-1 before. I didn't have a clue about coming out of football or anything like that. So in this, I wanted to open it up. I wanted to win good, but Josh was a gamer. He definitely brought it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now you're kind of caught under right here. You don't look to be panicking, but at any point did you think, oh, the referee calls a stalemate? Or you just holding on and say, Lord, please give me a stalemate?
We drilled stuff. But I felt like right.
There we go. So that's the end of the period.
Norman Perez, please report to the awards area.
You're going down right here. All right, so from right here, what are we looking to do, man? What's your go-to on bottom?
Just immediate up. I do a quad pod. Get to my feet. Josh was right tough here, but I knew I hadn't got turned all year. The confidence level for me to get turned, I didn't think it was going to happen. So Josh wants to ride out. He got that cross wrist. I didn't think I was going to get turned. I'm up 2-1. He's got to turn me. I didn't think it was going to happen, but my goal was to get out.
Yeah.
To never stop wrestling. Never in that match was my mindset to just hang out and hold on to a win.
Now, you can hear, of course, we're in the Harrison County fan section. Did
Yep.
you have a bunch of family, bunch of friends from school come, or?
Yeah, we pretty good crowd up there. Background pretty loud. When I was mad. And I tried that front quarter there, which actually I remember turning Josh when I first wrestled him with it. I thought, man, maybe I get it here in the finals too.
Yeah, hey, I get it. All right, so we're about a minute left, less than a minute left. He's going to give you an optional start because he knows he's got to have a takedown.
Yeah.
When you get cut right here, you're up 2. Do we change our mentality? Are we still pushing forward? Are we in this straight defense now? What are we doing here?
So we didn't have any stalling calls or anything like that, but my still come forward. Like my best defense was my offense. So we're not circling, running or anything. Like did with that in a bad spot? No, but definitely to stay what got me there.
Right. And I see a young Joe Catan out there. I'm not sure who the whistle is. I'm sure Joe will tell us who that is. I'm not familiar, but there it is, man. The final, you win by a score of 3-1. And that's where this one ends.
Yeah.
Watching it back, of course, like you said, you watched it with Josh's video, but now watching this one back, does it play out the way you remember, like the little nuances and all that, or how did it go for you?
Yeah. So when we ended up hitting heads in that first period, Josh immediately grabs his face and is bleeding. I didn't even know I was cut. Like it hits the top of your head. Like I got a hard head. My wife will tell you. So So I walk back to the center and then I turn back, I circle and turn back and look at my dad. And then blood is running down my face and he grabs my shirt immediately and just throws it on my face and is looking. So, the approach to the match definitely changed, when the multiple stops and, you only so much blood time. So it definitely changes things. But I remember in Josh's video, he said that he was confident and needed to keep it on his feet. And I welcome that. That was I saw that and I was that was his mindset, but that was my mindset as well. We can stay here, So That's what like I think that's what I remember most was the bud time was it was a super long match. I remember the double. And I remember pushing forward, so I don't remember like you see guys like when there's short time, like it was 40 seconds when he cut me. He's got to get a takedown. There's guys that'll just run and like stay at a distance and they'll get hit. Well, some refs will hit quicker than others, but we hadn't had one yet, so like I wasn't in fear of giving up to stalling, but still going forward, wrestle the same way. You're not put yourself in those bad positions or whatever. So
I got it. Now I'm going to pull up real quick the 2007 the state championships for who won it that year. Give me just 1 second here, bub.
Yep.
I want to make sure that we are because there was some great wrestling in 07.
Yeah.
103 was Elliot Martin from Seneca. Travis Sullivan, 3-timer at 112.
Yeah.
Matt Zarth at 119. He started his 3-time run from Henry Clay in 07. Tyler Voth from Dunbar. Darwin Perez from LaRue County. I think we're going to be getting with him whenever they get his video converted. Of course, you at 135. Brian Peets from Ryle at 140. Harrison Courtney, he was on his second of his 4 in 2007 from Woodford County there. Current head coach now at Woodford. Mitch Urban. Huh?
No, he's the head coach now at Woodford.
Yeah, he got it this past spring, so he's going to be the head coach at Woodford now. Mitch Irvin. Mitch won most outstanding that year. John Woolseifer.
Yeah.
From Fern Creek, which we done his 2007 video. Actually, I converted that tape for him. Mason Reed from Ryle at 171. Will Starks from Woodford at 189. Derek Nickel from Louisville Doss at 215. And then Matt Bird from Woodford at heavy. So, man, some straight up studs from top to bottom. You know, you look at Matt Bird, who absolute monster, down to Travis Sullivan, who Travis was an absolute monster as well. Everywhere in between, man, just a solid bunch of dudes. They're in the finals, or I guess that becomes state champions, I should say. So let's talk about Oldham County's history just real quick. 13 individual state champions. 1985, Mike Chisholm. 2-timer Jason Talbot. 1994-96, Jason's on the channel. 1996, most outstanding. 1997, Pat Zizlowski. Aaron Reardon, Matt Thompson, Josh Reardon, Brent Gibbs. All 4 of those guys right back to back are on the channel. You, of course. We talked to Alex McIntosh from 2015. We're going to be doing his video as well. We were supposed to do it yesterday as of this filming, but we're going to do it later next week. We need to say rest in peace to Max Emerson, 2016. We're going to be doing a memorial video for Max. And then we just filmed Miller Browns and Tatum Millets from 2024. So I have all 13 Oldham County State Championship Finals videos we're going to be getting, whether it's in person, Zoom, we're going memorial video in the case of Max. We're going to have all the Oldham County State Champions on the channel at some point. So a lot of good representation there, man. So earlier you talked about didn't really get nervous when you wrestled. Now you kind of get more nervous. I have to bring up the of course, having kids, having your own your own club, your own team that you coach now. There's that great music video, Kenny Chesney, The Boys of Fall, where it's got Sean Payton in the locker room and he's giving his old high school team a speech, give us 3 claps, everybody's clapping, whatever. And he says, one of the best lines that he says is, worry about tonight. Once these Friday nights are gone, they're gone. There's plenty of time to start your life. There's plenty of time to do this. Don't worry about, what's coming, whatever. Worry about what you've got right now. Appreciate what you have in some form. Then he goes on to say, that feeling that you get right now, you'll still get it, but you don't get it as often. And he says, when you get married, have your kids. He goes through a couple of examples. And I wish more high schoolers, more people that actually get to do it now would just comprehend that piece of advice. Yeah, you'll still get nerves. You'll still get that anxious excitement, whether you played football, basketball, wrestled, whatever the sport is that you competed in, band, drama, whatever it is that you do. You just don't get it as often.
Yeah.
So when you have your team go to a tournament, your kids are wrestling, it's a different feeling, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely different. It's all the work you put in. You're still putting in the work, but you're as a coach instead, and you know they've done their job, and you know how bad they want it, and then so that nerves like of it, are they going to get it done kind of thing. So I definitely get nervous in the corner more than I've got nervous on a mat for me.
Yeah, and speaking on the referee side of the house, of course, we've done several referee review videos on the channel so far. I can't speak for every single ref in every single sport across the United States, but I can speak for me. And I feel pretty confident speaking for other referees that I know, is we take the officiating side as serious as anybody. As any sport in this state, we take a lot of pride in the knowledge of the rules, our mechanics, being the best official that we can be. Now, everybody may not always agree with us, but like you said, most of us wrestled. I think everybody that referees with us now that like do regions and above wrestled at some point. And we get the same nerves. Yeah. We know how much goes into it. The last thing that we want to do, whether people believe it or not, is to make a bad call, feel like we're cheating somebody, feel like we're not giving somebody a fair, as they say, give us a fair shake or whatever. So we get the same nerves. We do. Yeah. I mean, when I officiated the state tournament in 2020, and then this past year for the girls 2024, believe me, every time I stepped out on the mat, I got the same nerves. Now, of course, I never made it to the state finals and all that, but nevertheless, I still got them. Different setting, but those same nerves were still there. And I think when you get the nerves, you get that excitement. I think that lets you know, hey, this means something. You know, this is important to you. This is not just, whatever. This is not just laying around the house. This means something. People have put in time. People have put in work. People have put in, the old saying, blood, sweat, and tears. We want to make sure that we give the kids, the coaches, the parents, the guardians, everybody, the best officiating that we can. And I know several coaches, I'm great friends with several coaches, whether it's high school, middle school, elementary, down club, whatever, is they put in a lot of work. You guys put in, fundraising, making sure all the kids get where they need to be. You got a meet going on. There's 10 mats. You could have 10 kids on, each mat. You could have kids wrestling each other. It happens all the time. So I know how much work goes in. I've never done it. I should say that, but I grasp the concept of how much work coaches put in to the sport that, this is a labor of love. You know what I'm saying? You do it because you love it. You do it because, well, I can't speak for you. Why do you coach, Ben? What's the drive for you, man?
The drive is the love for the sport, like exactly what you just said. Want to teach. Wrestling gave me a lot. Work ethic, discipline, goal setting, like that I'm going to do something. Like I'm saying I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So that's what I like to instill in my wrestlers. So just take that hard work from it. So like for coaching, like not every wrestler wants to be a state champion. Maybe their mom puts them in it. Maybe they want to do it, and then they learn to love it. Like wrestling's not one of those sports that you like at the YMCA or something like that. Like, what do you mean there's blood time? Like there's like that's a real thing. So, and you get these parents that are real nervous, and then all of a sudden they're like rabid, like crazy at that.
Oh yeah.
So for wrestling's definitely something that you learn to love. I mean, you don't like when you first start, like it's hard practices. Like you're physically putting something like a double leg to the mat. That kind of hurts when you don't know what you're doing, right? So to get them in there, and then like they see a light bulb hit, like, oh, that's what coach was talking about. And I love those moments. And then it's the next thing, and you praise those, a big time praise, and then they start like catching it, and then they're chasing that. That competitive itch. Like that's what keeps you in it, is that competitiveness. Like I want to compete. So coaching for me is what it's done for me, is trying to get that to the youth and middle school or high school guys that I've worked with.
Yeah, you were talking about, parents. Did you see the video I done? The wrestling moms had the wig on and all that.
I didn't see that one, but I need to watch it.
You need to check it out. But I done a little quick video about. I done like a little series about like the 1980s karate fight movies, whatever. They done like they'd always do like a montage of like them training in a gym, or like Rocky training in the Siberian tundra and all that kind of stuff. I done like a little 4-tape series, little 4-video series, and one of them was how to deal with wrestling moms. And it was like right around Halloween. I went and bought a wig, screaming the whole time, whatever. And I would go out to meets or be out, whatever. And I don't know how many women come to me and were like, "You were too accurate on that. You were too close. That you've seen a lot of that." I was like, "Yeah, you've been around it for 19 years. You pick up, the wrestling mom traits, and what they're going to say almost before they say it." So and something for me that I like to see when it comes to the youngsters, and not just that. When I say youngsters, I don't mean just young kids. I'm talking, I'm almost 40, so I guess I can say a high schooler's a youngster. But when you see somebody start off, whether it's elementary school, middle school, whatever, then you see them the next year, you can say, okay, they've improved. Then they get into high school, and you see them like in like the regional medal rounds, they win. You see the same kid that couldn't hardly, didn't know how to stand 4 years ago. Now they're going to the state tournament, and maybe a year or two later, they're in the regional finals. And you're just like, I'm glad they stuck with it. I'm glad that, they improved along the way. So Ben, man, we've covered a lot of ground, talked about a lot of things. Anything you'd like to say, add, take away, anything like that, that you want to add to the video, man? The floor is yours.
Just any youth, any middle school, any high school guy that wrestles or that's just starting, stay with it, find your goals, and try to achieve them. And when you achieve them, create a new one. But it's not tie my shoes today. It's place at regions and place at state, like higher goals. But so with the youth, it's that way. Like you're chasing a medal, but really you're chasing the sport of wrestling. Like learn and get better. It's not just about that medal at the end of the day, but that's what we do at Olympus. Yeah, it's great to win, and we, as coaches, we're super competitive as well. But we try to definitely instill just the competitive portion of wrestling, but just to move forward and compete. And all right, well, we didn't win that one. Well, we do good. All right, how do we build on that kind of thing? So, if I wouldn't have lost in the semi or in the state finals the year before, like I know I would have had that fire, but there was like nothing stopped me to get back. Right. So the summer workouts, going camps and whatnot. So that was something that drove me. Find what sparks that fire. That's what really needs to happen. But definitely that. Yeah.
No, that's great advice, man. You've been there. You've been to the top of Mount Olympus, as they say. Is that how you come up with the name for it? I got to ask.
That is also all Corey Mullins. He's the friend of ours got us together, and Jeremy Potts and Corey was going to start a youth team. I wanted to coach still, so we got together, and we're here on year 4 or 5, something like that. So
that's cool, man. That's a cool story. I know the whole Olympus team is going to watch this, man. I know whenever we put out your video or the Josh's video, it was just great to see all the people sharing it and oh my God, that's Coach Ben. Oh my God, yada yada. So it's going to be great to get your I guess your side of the match. And I was wanting to do yours and Josh's together to do our first both competitors, in the same room at the same time. We just couldn't get it worked out. I think that would have been a good video to do, a good visual for everybody.
Me and him talk all the time. So he's got his kids in wrestling and mine in wrestling. So we see each other at youth, and then I go to the high school meets still and watch like the bigger ones, whatever regions and states. And, oh, my wife's just chiming in the back. But Josh is a great dude, and back it was like for me, like I didn't even know, like when I first saw him that first time after, like I didn't think like, who are we gonna fight? Like I don't know how like but Josh was huge, by the way. So like I mean, I'm a lot bigger than we were, but I talk to him all the time, and he keeps trying to get me to come down to Harrison County and coach with him. I think it would be great, but I'm here in Oldham. Oldham's got a lot of great for him right now. We got Oldham schools in general, their program's big and growing. Our Olympus is the more you can get into wrestling is great. And like me and Corey both coached on the Team Kentucky, so like we're going out to Iowa and wrestling. Coached it last year and this year, so it's definitely growing and doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Now, before we end this, what's on my head, I think that there was a young man on your team. First name is Roby. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe that's Joey Roby's nephew.
Yeah. Roby.
Mike Roby. That would be Joey's dad. I met him at the middle school state tournament. I believe it was in 20. I just started the review series. So that was 22, and we done. Of course, Joey Roby wrestled Eric Dingus in the 92 finals, and it was nice to meet the family. Yeah. And I guess it's Roby's mom, I believe, which would be Eric or Joey's sister, said the first time that she watched the review, she was like, I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating, even though I was there. I know the outcome. I was watching. I was like, I can't breathe. This is not the way. I'm hyperventilating. So it was kind of cool. Even all these 30 years later, that emotion still was able to, I guess, manifest, if you will, and let people know, hey, you still have the same feelings no matter how much time has passed. But man, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. A long time coming. Wish we could have done it in person. We just couldn't get it lined up, but. We go to Zoom, next best thing, man. So thank you all for watching. Normally, we say we'll see you guys and girls on the mats, but I think this video we need to say, when it comes to wrestling, we will see you guys and girls on the top of Mount Olympus.
There it is. See you. Thank you.